Hello, my name's Pete. You may recall me from talking about games that I don't like. Well, I never really spoke about what I do like, and let's be honest, I'm just a nerd who likes trains. I don't know anything about them, just think they're cool. If you haven't seen Railroader before, and you are even slightly interested in train sims, check it out. It's still in early access, so there's a lot of things that are a bit rough around the edges, but as an actual railroading experience, fantastic. One of the problems I have with it is that the economy is a little bit of a cakewalk later on. You've got some industries that just pay you loads of money, and it makes things, well, quite frankly, it makes them trivial after a few days. So I have been working on a way to make things a little bit more challenging. So I'm just going to go ahead and we're just going to make a new game, and we're going to call it something ridiculous, like money hard, like that. And the reporting mark is going to be MH because that stands for money hard, and the name of the save is going to be the one you recorded that one time. I'm going to hit start. It's going to be a company mode, by the way. In case you didn't know, there's a sandbox mode where money isn't even a thing. Don't need that. So there's a tutorial to follow. If you're new to the game, I highly recommend you follow the tutorial. What I'm going to be doing, so, you know, spoilers for anybody who's interested in playing the game. Look, it's just money hard on all my trains because that's the name of my railway. Okay, so you start the game out with a few resources to make things pretty damn easy for making money. Now, keep in mind, if it's your first time playing this game, don't do it this way. Just do it properly and just get used to the way the game works. Because it's a lot. It's a lot at first. It really is. But once you know what you're doing, it's, you know, driving the trains is fun, but then the gameplay aspect of actually making the money and making the railway tick over kind of just sort of peters out into not really being a thing. So here's how I want to make it harder. So let me just go to the free flight. There's a couple of camera modes. One of them is the first person, where you got your little dude, you walk around. Let's go and sit in the train that we're going to be driving, like this. And the other one's free flying camera, which is way I play the game most of the time. So to begin with, the game gives you these. You've got a caboose here. You've got a passenger car, a coal truck for putting into your coal loader, a second engine which is somewhat in state of disrepair, and you also have these skeleton cars which are for loading logs into the sawmill. Now the problem here is that the sawmill pays so much money per day that making money is really just, it's like $2,000 a day on the lowest contract tier or something like that. It's ridiculous. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but, you know, let's see. Look, if you're going to buy a train, the next train up here is, what, 5,000? No, sorry, the price is 9,500. You could quite easily work up to buying a new train, and then scale up the contract for the industry and just get money coming out of your orifices. Which, again, it's just becomes less fun later down the line. So what I'm doing here is I'm setting each of these cars. Unfortunately, there is no way to do this easier. You have to click on each of the individual cars and set the sell destination. I'm going to sell all these cars. Now, things won't just sell in place. You have to take them to the interchange, which is what I'm setting the sell destination to. Not too far away. This won't take too long to set up, I promise. For those of you who have played this game, the waybill has changed to send these to the interchange. Don't need to explain that to you if you have played the game. If you haven't, then what it's going to do is I'm going to move the things to over here, which is the interchange. I'm going to do the same thing with this caboose here, which, even in all honesty, even in the rest of the game, doesn't really have much of a use. Your engines have more than enough braking force to deal with the loads, so this is just sort of decoration. This highlighted area here, when I hover over this, that's where things are going to be sold. I'm going to sell this. I'm going to sell the skeleton cars. And I'm going to sell this train. A couple of things to note about it. One is that its condition is only 70%, two that it's derailed, so I'm going to have to re-rail it to get it back over there. And the selling price of it is not going to be very high. I'm going to get $4,000 for it because it's in such a state of disrepair. But that's okay because we're trying to make things more difficult. Now, we already start with 5,000. Each of those skeleton cars is going to sell for about 500. I think there's 8 of them, so that's a few thousand there. And this sells for, I think, 3,500, is it? Yeah, just over 3,500. We are going to amass quite a lot of money just from selling the bits and pieces. So let's just go ahead and get the things ready to sell. I'm messing with the camera and everything here. Right, I'm going to move things over to the interchange. I'm going to get things set up in place, and I will come back to you when that's all done. Okay, I've just about got everything into the yard that I want to get. I've decided to keep the box car for the repair parts because filling the box car with repair parts is expensive. And also I've kept a coal car because, well, let's face it, you're just going to buy that again and fill it up again anyway, so it doesn't matter. But everything else other than the passenger car is going to be sold. So before I just go ahead and sell those things, I'm going to first of all move my locomotive out of the way because sometimes the game's a little bit janky with what happens at the interchange. Now, the interchange needs to be serviced. I could wait a full day to do that, or I could go into locations, the East Whittier interchange, and then I can schedule another service. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to skip time forward a little bit just when my train is out of the way. Then all of these things will be taken away, and I will receive a big chunk of money. Now, before it goes, it's absolutely vital that you do this before it goes, because after it goes, you're not going to be able to do it. Go into your finances tab, and you want to take out the maximum loan. Just keep clicking loan. There we go. Now I've got £26,000. But Pete, you're supposed to be making it harder. How is this making it harder? Well, it does this in a couple of ways. One, your loan maximum amount is based against how many assets you own. So right now I own a lot more assets than I will do in a couple of hours time when everything gets sold. So I'm able to take out a substantial amount. So once they've been sold, I can't take any further loans out. And two, it's then going to give me an interest payment to make in 4 days. Now, I know it says you need to pay $2,100 in 4 days, and you've got $26,000 in the bank. Don't worry, we're going to do something about that as well. So let's skip time forward to the, to 11:55. So let's just wait a few hours. And the interchange has been serviced, and we've sold a lot of stuff, and we now have a lot of money, but we don't have a lot of assets. So our maximum loan is now 9,161. So we are way in excess of our maximum loan. What we're going to do with the money that remains is this. We're going to first of all go into the milestones, and then this is where it might get this. You should do this after the interchange has been serviced, otherwise you're going to have to drag everything that you just put into that Whittier interchange all the way down to silver. We're going to purchase the line to silver for $10,000. That's going to give us a whole heap more track. So when we started the game, we had this interchange here. The track goes up to Whittier. We can go up here to collect logs for the sawmill. Can't do that anymore, not got any skeleton cars. And then the track goes up here to Ella Station. That's all we've got. What we've just purchased is all of this right down to the interchange here, which includes 1, 2, 3 extra passenger stops, about 9 industries, I think. A lot of them are in silver, but there's still 28,000. Yes, I'm well aware of that, thank you. We're going to go back into the milestones. We're going to take the repair the track and bridge for 1,000. You're going to take this. We're going to take this. We are going to take that. We are going to take that. And we're going to take that. So we've taken every possible milestone we can, which is going to provide a lot of freight work tomorrow to the tune of about 20 cars. Now, we've sold the more powerful of the 2 locomotives, so we've only got this little one here. And yes, we still have the money to purchase extra locomotives. But what we're going to do instead of purchasing extra locomotives is something that makes money in a far less efficient manner. And we're just going to purchase passenger cars. Now, purchase whatever passenger cars you want. What I'm going to do is I'm going to purchase the most expensive ones so that I get less for my money. Let me just work out which ones the most expensive ones are. I think it's the observation ones. Yes, they don't hold very many passengers either, so it takes them a long time to pay for themselves. How many can we afford? Ooh, we can only afford 1. Lovely. Since I can't afford anything else, I'll buy one of these palace cars. And then I should only have $700 left. I don't think I can take out any more loans. Yep, I'm still over my maximum loans now. So nothing I can do about loans. What we're going to do is I'm going to fly the length of the track that we've got to work with now with a single locomotive, which is much more work than it might sound. But hopefully you're not doing this as you first go through. So the track and bridge that needs repairing is over here. The text just loads very slow. The game is so early access, but there's so much game in the game. I know the textures load slow. I know the world looks kind of dead, but the game, trust me, the game works great. They'll add the scenery. They promised they'll add the scenery at some point. This is where the track and bridge needs repairing. It heads all the way up to there, and it opens up a new yard and several new industries to service and another passenger stop. This is Ella Station here, and The path back to Whittier is this windy, nice track. It's absolutely lovely to just cruise down here, you know. Put a bit of music on. Drive your train. Oh look, see the tracks haven't loaded properly there. They do exist. It's just because I'm flying the camera around so fast. So we go to here, which is the interchange that we started with. So the track goes all the way along here. This is the next station stop, which if we take a look on the map is not too far away. And then up this way is an incline that the poor little locomotive that we're left with, the G6, is it G16? Is that what it's called? Scroll to the top. Yes, the G16 Mogul. With a few passenger cars, it's going to start to struggle at around this point here as the track slopes upwards towards a tunnel. Which means you're going to have to be careful about your coal and water usage, because right now you've only got the funds to get coal up to the Whittier interchange. This engine service probably starts with a bit of coal here, yeah. But once that coal's run out, you're going to have to purchase more coal and another coal truck for it to go into. There's another stop there. Now, you can take jobs at the industries. It's not a problem with taking the jobs at the industries. It'll get you some money. The problem is you're not going to be able to haul all the freight properly. Like, this is the silver depot, the silver paperboard, silver tannery. If you look in locations here, again, I'm assuming you've played the game already. If you clicked on a video that says starting railroader with hard money, I'm assuming you played the game. Okay, but I'm going to explain this for anybody who's clicked on here out of mild curiosity, because this isn't normally a feature on my channel. On the location section here, you can find a list of all the industries that you can service by clicking on the available tiers in the contract section here. Starting out tier 1, it goes up to tier 8, I think is the maximum. Feel free to fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure some of the industries can reach tier 8. Yeah, you can accept all these contracts if you want, but what that will do is at your interchange, which has now moved 12 miles south to here, which is where my 2 passenger cars have spawned. Look, say money hard on them, you can tell they're mine. Got to drive all the way down here just to pick them up, never mind move any passengers around. Once you've accepted your contracts, you're not going to be able to move all that freight at once anyway, especially not with all the milestones that we've just done, paid for, which is to the tune of, well, let's see, we've got 13 cars coming for that, 14, 15, that's less than I expected, but 15 cars, the little mogul is not going to be able to pull it properly. And so now you've got to figure out how to make the money to make the payments on your loans. We've got a big old $2,000 payment to make in 4 days time, and right now all we can do is move passengers around effectively. Now you can skip time ahead and wait a day to get a load of freight. Freight will bring you in money, sure, but again, you're not leaving yourself in a great position if you take all the contracts. In fact, as just a little example, I am going to accept all the contracts and I'm going to skip time to the next day, and we're going to see exactly how many freight cars get delivered. It's worth noting while I'm clicking on these that there are a couple of things that you cannot service without purchasing rolling stock for. So for instance, the silver paperboard contract will require you to have pulpwood cars to bring pulpwood from the forests to the paperboard. You can't do that unless you've bought the cars for it, which will be found in this menu down in the rolling stock section. The flat bulkhead ones, there we go. Nope, it's currently impossible for me to buy one. Can't even take out a little bit of a loan. So at least a day's worth of work is going to have to go into servicing the other industries and delivering passengers before I can even think about servicing one of those industries. The silver paperboard, that is. The other one being the sawmill, which is again requires your own rolling stock, because we got rid of the flat cars. We're going to have to buy more flat cars to do anything with it. Buying more flat cars is very difficult when you are unable to purchase things. I don't think we can even get a skeleton car. Oh, we can buy one skeleton car. So go ahead, buy that if you want. I'll buy the skeleton car. There it goes, but it only fits 3 logs on it, and the tier 1 contract for the sawmill, I'm pretty sure requires 8 logs a day. Let's see, does it tell me yet? No, going to skip time ahead. We're going to see what comes up, and then we're going to see how difficult it will be to work this. And good morning. It is 6 AM and the Whittier, not the Whittier, we're not in Whittier anymore, the silver interchange just received 43 cars. What's fantastic about this is that it will make you a lot of money, but there is no way in hell that little mogul is going to move any more than, I'd say 10 cars at a time. You could probably move the 13 cars for the bridge site, but it's going to mean going backwards and forwards with your one little locomotive, which, you know, it's possible to do when you've got the time set to real time. For an extra challenge if you feel like it, you know, make it take longer per day. Make time go faster so your loan payment comes around quicker. But that's how I'd recommend making Railroader harder for yourself. I might play a few days of this and record it, see how I get on, because Honestly, it's it's going to be a lot of work. What I would normally have, before even considering purchasing the tractor silver here, I would have 3 or 4 locomotives. One would be a dedicated road freight locomotive, so it would be a big chunky engine that could pull a load of things and just drop them off at the designated places, and then have little switchers doing the jobs in the yards every now and then. But I don't get that privilege at the moment because I have royally screwed myself over with money, and well, there's very little I can do to recover from that because a lot of these cars are not going to pay me for anything. So anything for the Ella Bridge site doesn't give you any money back. You pay for those milestones to unlock more track, and you're not actually servicing an industry there. So that's going to be one whole trip that gives me no money, and I've got to bring the empties back to the interchange once they're done as well. So it's a second trip that's not going to give me any money. Everything that's going to the paperboard, it's some of it's materials, some of it's empty because the paperboard factory is supposed to spit stuff out to send back to the interchange. That's not going to do any work because I can't get pulpwood to it. The sawmill should have some empty cars going to it. It does there, yeah. Great, because I'll get paid for delivering those, but the sawmill itself is not going to spit out anything, so these cars are not going to come back and pay for themselves on the second trip for any time soon because all I can do is take 1 car's worth of logs up there every time. It's going to be a slog. It's going to be a slog to get money, especially considering that what I need is a more powerful locomotive. And, well, let's be honest, my best option would probably be, as a reasonably priced upgrade, is the T22 10-wheeler. I don't have $9,000, and the fact that I've skipped time ahead as well has harmed my railroad's reputation, because I haven't serviced the passenger network, so I get 0%. My overall is 70%, and that's going to drop unless I increase my performance. But increasing my performance, am I going to have enough time in the day to sort out all this freight and run a passenger train? Normally I'd have the AI run the passenger train whilst I sort the freight out. Don't have that privilege here. Things are going to be more difficult. This is my idea for a railroader hard mode. You don't have to like it, you don't have to try it. Let me know what you think. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.